Hey everyone, Brian Albert from IGN here alongside our news lead, Zack Stein.
What's up, Brian?
Hey, and my fellow associate editor, Brandin Tyrrel.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. We're talking about Battlefield Hardline. I reviewed the game for IGN. As you can see right there behind us, I gave the game an 8.0. On IGN's scale, that means it's great. Now, if you haven't read the review, just go ahead and do that. But also, to save you some time, we're going to roll it here for you.
Hands up. Stay right where you are.
Hey! Battlefield Hardline impressively manages to serve several different audiences at once. Its campaign is both a great shooter and a great stealth game, with a typical plot spiced with interesting characters and sparse but punctual humor. The large-scale tactical multiplayer combat the series is known for is still as good as it's ever been, but the speedy new Hotwire and round-based 5v5 modes provide both speed and thrills.
The first thing I say in my review is that I was really surprised by the single player.
Right.
And I've played a lot of campaigns before, Bad Company, even the older stuff or whatever, 3, 4. And the thing about Hardline is that you can play it as a stealth game just as well as you can play it as a shooter.
Right.
Totally, I wasn't really expecting that. I wasn't following the game up to release. I try not to do that for games I review. Totally blew me away at how good it was. And now, you're playing through it right now. Are you being stealthy or are you just shooting everybody?
Yeah, so what's nice about the game is that it encourages stealth. And I was worried when I first heard this game announced because it's cops and robbers type theme, and you're thinking, are we going to glorify criminals taking on cops? Or we're going to glorify cops killing criminals? We know about the political environment. We're not going to go there. But what I'm saying is it encourages stealth. And you are rewarded for being stealthy, and you will progress faster and better if you use stealth. If you want to go in and blow everyone away, you can, but it's going to take you a long time. And so the game is getting you into that mindset that you want to be a cop. You want to take these folks down. The stealth mechanics work well. They are fun. It gets a little dry sometimes, but overall, I think they do it really well. And I did have a smile on my face like, wow, this is almost, you can go like Splinter Cell on this if you want to.
Right. And it's weird. You're like, well, you're a cop. Why are you being stealthy? And you're like, well, cops don't want to go run in and shoot up everything, right? You get rewarded for acting like a cop.
Yeah.
You get this scanner item pretty early in the campaign.
Yes.
And before you go into any like combat zone, you can scan and see like there's an enemy there. There's like 5 guys over there.
Right.
Not the restaurant, the enemies.
Right.
There's like an explosive barrel here and an alarm over in that corner. And so you can sort of get this like survey the area and then sneak around and
Kind of map it out.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't really want to go in and shoot everybody. You don't want all
Right.
those casualties, which I think is kind of cool because you can run in and sort of use your badge, which, by the way, is a feature that we should just definitely talk about. The badge, you pop it up, and most of the time the enemies will respect that. You say freeze, and they're going to put their hands up.
So there's the little icon that goes on over the head if they are going to respect it. Because if you don't see the badge icon pop and you throw that up there, they're just going to shoot you.
They just don't care?
Yeah, they're going to take you down. So you want to see that you're going to get the respect. They're going to listen to you. You got to train the gun on them. And by the way, if you leave your partner behind and you have more than 2, and there's a third dude there, then you have the meter that starts filling up with the other dudes. Like, you're taking down this guy. I'm going to go ahead and take you out. There is a lot that comes into this. It's a complicated thing, and you have to think it through, and I like that. Again, it's not simple, either I'm going to be stealthy or I'm going to shoot. You got to map it out.
Absolutely. So we talked about how well it pulls off both stealth and shooting. The major gripe that I had with the campaign, at least gameplay-wise, is that you level up your character, and the leveling system is how you unlock new weapons and explosives and cool stuff. You level up faster by being stealthy because you see, oh, this guy, there's a arrest warrant out for him.
Right.
If I arrest him, I get all these points.
Yeah.
If you just shoot everyone, you miss out on a ton of points.
Right.
But if I'm playing stealthy, why do I want to level up so quickly and get these massive guns?
Yeah.
And if I'm shooting, I want those guns, and I'm not going to get them quickly. It's this weird sort of backward system that doesn't benefit how you play.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that just slipped by them, and by the time maybe they figured it out, they're like, well, we're just kind of locked in here because you get fantastic weapons and gadgets and scopes and all these things, but you're encouraged to not use them. Maybe it would have been nice to see that carry over to multiplayer somehow. I don't know what could have happened, but yeah, it is odd, and I do remember you talking about that, and I'll look at all these great rifles I have, and rarely will I pull out a gun.
Yeah, and that's the thing I want to make clear, is just because I played it stealth doesn't mean you have to. The guns still feel awesome. It's still like loud, cool, great feeling weapons, Battlefield if you want it to be.
Yeah.
Before we wrap this up quickly, can we talk about the Netflix, the episode nature of the single
If you want
player?
to, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up.
Previously
I
and
love
next time on.
Yeah, you get the previously on Battlefield Hardline before each episode, and if you quit out the game when you're done with a level, it'll say next time, and you get the preview for the next episode next time on the Battlefield Hardline. But when you're done with an episode, in between, there's like 30 seconds between each episode, and they have the little window at the bottom that
straight on
shows the
Netflix.
countdown, just like Netflix.
Yeah.
It really really does feel like a TV show.
I think that's great. I think Visceral, so for so long we've looked at video games as sort of this like interactive analog to movies, right? But I think taking that and migrating it over the sort of serial nature of video games, where each level is the next chapter of this story, migrating that over to TV series, right, where each chapter is an episode, I think it fits perfectly. Like, I think
it's a neat take, and it fits totally in line with how we consume other media.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's totally like what we binge watch, right? And you binge watch a show, you play a game. It's just like binge watching a show.
So let's talk a little bit about the multiplayer.
Yeah.
If you come to Battlefield and you just want straight up, conquest, old school capture points multiplayer,
The Battlefield
still there
flavor,
for you.
still
there.
absolutely there. Yeah.
But the new marquee mode
Yeah.
is Hotwire. And
So good.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's sort of like Conquest actually, except the capture points are not geographic locations; they're cars.
Right, they're
and you have to jump into these cars and go fast enough that points accrue. So if it's Speed. It's the movie Speed turned into a game.
Yeah.
You have to go. You got to go fast.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the Sonic mode.
Yeah.
Super fun. It's so addictive. It's such a rush because, you're rushing to get to the car. You get in the car, you're driving away, and you've got to keep this speed going. And it quickly dawned on me, like, you're not looking for a destination point. How long can I keep this car going this fast before somebody takes me out?
Right.
And it is such a thrill ride. It was so unexpected and so ridiculously fun.
Yeah, you played a ton of this, Brandon. You played a lot of this too, right?
Played a lot.
This is your favorite mode in the game.
Yeah, this is my favorite mode.
All right, tell me about it.
The thing that I love about this is, like, in traditional Conquest, you know where your nodes are, right? A's on the hill, B's in the gas station, whatever, C's in the valley. So your sort of choke points and lines are pretty standard. But in Hotwire mode, Conquest becomes just this sort of like really chaotic dance of like speeding cars and choppers flying over. So it's not uncommon to have 4 out of 5 of these conquest points within like a two square city blocks, right? And everything is just swirling around. So, I mean, Hotwire mode is great in that the action is always in this sort of constant flow and state of flux where you can never really pin anything down, so you never really know what to expect. I think during your review you had said, like, in Hotwire mode you never really feel safe, right?
Exactly. I like to think of it almost like the dumb cartoons where like 2 people are fighting and they're like just a tornado and a dust cloud, and as they move around the house
things
or whatever,
get sucked into it.
Yeah. Like, so for people with my playstyle, it took me a long time to get used to that mode because I don't camp. I will never say that I camp. I patrol a certain area and keep it safe.
He locks down an
I
area.
lock down an area.
Sometimes standing still. Maybe
That's not
lying
true.
down.
That's not true. I
Maybe lying
patrol
down.
it. The point is, I like to make this area mine.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's an important area. And it's an important enough area
Set
to
of
guard.
camp, whatever.
Doesn't. Yeah. Strongest boy. Giving me crap here. The nodes move around, and
Yeah.
so I'm like, yeah, I got this area on lockdown. Totally doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's on the opposite side of the
It doesn't
map.
at all. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna own this rental car facility, but at the same time, somebody's way over there. Like, this is the one game mode where playing the objective is really just going and killing everyone you can.
And it doesn't matter
Keep
who
them away
you.
from the cars.
It's not about a kill-death ratio. I told you
Not at all.
the funniest thing I saw last night with this. Somebody was camped up high up on a hill somewhere and shooting people. And I'm thinking, like, you absolutely do not get the objective
Sure.
of this. This mode has nothing to do with killing people. It's about getting the car, keeping it as long as you can, and for anyone else trying to take out the vehicle. That's all. You can go ahead and kill 20 people and have the best KD ratio ever. It will not matter. You will show up at the bottom of the list. But if you drive that car for 5 minutes, you're the king.
you get a ton of
Yeah,
of
when you're
points.
driving the car, it's awesome. You
just see
turn
the
to your favorite
points.
radio
It's just like a
station.
ticker.
You
Yeah.
got the sound of the police
sound of
going.
the police.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, and people can spawn in your car and they can kind of like sit on the edge of the
Yes.
window and like shoot out of it.
Yeah. So is this the first time you can do that, where you can
I
actually?
think it's the first time you can actually
fully get out of the car and like
right. You could
sit
shoot
on the
out
window.
of windows before, but now you're
It's
You can
such a
shoot out of
rush.
windows, and now you can actually get out and gun people down as you're
that's
driving by.
so
And I will
good.
say that in Hotwire mode, as the mechanic with your grenade launcher and your SMG, I did much more work hanging out of a window than I did in the gunner seat of a chopper, or than I did on a hill with a sniper rifle. Like, you're in the mix, you're blowing stuff up, you jump out of the car, you gun someone down, take the car, drive off. It's just points forever.
right. The thing is that in this game, they made it a point to have fewer kinds of explosives
Yeah.
available. So you're like, well, this mode's about blowing up cars and like getting into them yourself. Like, what do
Sure.
I do? So I found is it the engineer? Is that what it's called?
The
Mechanic. Who's the one with the grenade launcher?
The mechanic.
Mechanic, right. I found that class to be invaluable.
Invaluable. Like it's not uncommon to see like 9 out of 10 people be
You
mechanics.
can't find rockets out there though. I mean,
So,
there are a lot
there
of
are
them.
drops.
So they
yes.
took the LMGs off the demo
It
class.
used to be on like the medic class as well.
The medic, yeah, okay. And then they took the RPGs off as well and made them battle pickups. So you can still find them on the map, but they're not readily available at spawn, because then you're just prolonging the game.
Right, yeah.
Right.
I guess the point is you can't just be like, well, they have all the cars, time to like roll out our explosive classes.
Yeah,
Like you still have to
exactly.
work to go find the explosives.
Absolutely.
It's a game about momentum. You always have to be moving, you always have to be on your toes. And for
Sticking
people,
together. Like it really is sticking together.
Teaming
It's-
up with
it's
a few
team.
people is great, and you guys ride out, and one of you drives, and you both get points. By the way, we should point that out. If you're spawning in someone's car, or if you're teamed up with them, you both get the points.
Right,
If
you're
you both
helping
have
them
the, yeah. So I mean, and I think it's one of the best ways to level up in multiplayer too.
Although
I
it might
really
seem
do.
chaotic, really the team dynamic is still there.
All right, we're going to change gears a little bit. We just talked about this really big team mode, Hotwire, Conquest sort of thing. Now we're going to go down really small 5v5.
Right.
There are two of these kinds of modes in Hardline. There's Crosshair, and then it's Rescue. Is that what it's called?
Rescue
Yes.
and Crosshair.
And Visceral wanted the point of these modes to sort of be like esports modes.
So they're hyper competitive side.
Yeah,
right?
super competitive, really fast, round-based
Yeah.
modes. I played a bunch of them. I didn't like them at first, and now I do. What do you guys think? Have you played a ton of them yet?
Yeah, I played a bunch. I felt the same way. It took a lot of getting used to, just because when you move away from, especially Hotwire mode, right? Like you move away from that constant action to the one life respawn. It's a different beast, though.
It really couldn't be more different.
It couldn't be more different. It's entirely separate entities, but for what it is, it plays really well. Like I got used to it. I got in there. All of the gear that's afforded to you, and really the especially Crosshair, where it's 5v5, right? And then one team has the VIP with the
golden gun.
the
golden gun.
sure,
the
yeah.
bald eagle.
The hand cannon. Yeah. I felt that with the weapons that are currently in there, and just the way the mechanics move around, that mode was really, really engaging, right? Because everyone is going, trying to kill this VIP, and there was one round where I think it was on the block. I ran up an apartment complex, looked down my scope where I thought they would be coming, and I saw him like crouch walk into frame, and the round ended in 30 seconds. Like I killed him. I killed him halfway across the map. I thought, as a competitive scene, I really feel like Hardline nailed it.
I want to be just really clear about this really quick. The VIP mode is called Crosshair.
Crosshair.
And yeah, the rules are one person on your team has the VIP, the other team has to stop you. The VIP has a super powerful cannon. If you kill him, it doesn't matter if everyone else is alive. Game
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
The other one is Rescue, where I believe there are two hostages.
Two hostages.
It's like Counter-Strike, old school's Counter-Strike.
Yeah, they're hostages. You have to go save them, take them to an evac point.
Right,
Just clarifying what we're talking about.
I got to tell you, I was like the two of you. I wasn't sold on this yet, but teamwork is so crucial, and I lucked out early on getting in with a good team. And these guys
just
knew.
rolled.
So
Yeah, what?
there
How
were-
did that happen?
Yeah, I know there. So you have the two hostages, and these we were the cops, right? And you're supposed to go and rescue the hostages. And these two guys take off. You see the objectives are to the right. There's these buildings. These guys take off to the left. They go, follow me. We were talking. Get in the elevator right up to the top of the building. They jump off, parachute down, start shooting everybody on the ground, run through. One guy gets the hostage while the two of us are protecting him. Run out to the car. One guy goes left because he knows everybody always goes over here and tries to, and all this
Is this
thing
your movie
happens.
script?
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking like,
It
this
was
is a
like
summer
1 minute,
blockbuster.
and I sat there just with a grin on my face, like this is the most. It is such a rush. Flip this side. I mean, there are people that are going to master this, and I can see this working on the esports scene, because if you have teamwork and you know what you're doing, the other team is what just happened. Like you're wiped out, one and done type thing. I thought it was beautiful, and like you said, it's got something for everybody, and they nailed each mode. This works.
This mode's going to be really good for esports because you can be the star player. There were a few times where I saw the strongest boy, Brandin Tyrrel. He was the last person alive on a team, and there were 4 enemies.
I
And
mean, not for nothing, but no big deal.
you were just being careful and smart, and
Yeah,
you
no,
beat 4
really,
enemies, and
it's
you won
not.
a game.
I am not a great FPS player by any means. I'm very average, but slow, methodical. Check your corners. I made sure, flashbangs, and really when you play it like how I assume they intended it to be played, breach and clear, it worked out well.
Oh, if you run a gun, you're going to be out, especially with some of these teams that know what they're doing and got a lockdown. If you just think you're going in like Rambo, you're going to be out and watching for the next 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
So did you find yourself using different kinds of equipment for this? Because I actually found that like the trip mines and stuff were pretty good in these modes.
Invaluable.
Yeah. So you guys switched up.
I
You didn't
switched
kinda
up
keep your-
weapons. I found that certain maps, I thought, my battle rifle, I forget whatever the one you get when you first start the mode, but I ended up going with the Scout Tactical, going for a sniper rifle. I found other modes, the shot, depending on the map. I was surprised that the weapon really mattered for the map, and you can't just use the same weapon every time.
Well, just like any mode or any first-person shooter, right? Like, you're going to choose your weapon depending on what the map calls for.
Yeah.
But because this is such a stealthier affair, like it's quieter, it's tactical. I really found that it matters more in this case, right? So you grab whatever the hardcore huge 50 cal sniper rifle is,
Yeah, I don't
and
remember
you
what's
put
called
an
in this game.
explosive jacket on that. Like, you're not going to find as much use out of that as I did, just rocking an MP5 with a silencer on it. You know? Like, I did a lot of work with a silenced SMG.
Right.
And I feel like, again, depends on the map, but really like taking your time and sustainability and survivability over just like guns blazing,
Absolutely.
Rambo.
And the one thing that mode really enables is a super tense 1v1 experience.
Oh,
if there's
man.
one person live on either side. I like, for example, there's 2 hostage points.
Yeah.
So if there's one person left on each team, you're going to rescue the hostage. Well, like maybe the other guy's looking at the other hostage.
Yeah.
And so there's this really weird tense like.
Or they're waiting for the extraction point. They're just camping out there knowing that you're going to have to show up. Right?
That happened to me a lot. Like I got the hostage and I'm like, okay, here we go, guys. Follow me. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
And then I get out there and I crouch down and look under like a semi-truck and I see his little feet like running around in the extraction zone. And then it gets his little feet. And then it gets really tense because now I've got, basically a life-size, a grown baby behind me that I have to protect and save while this guy is hunting. So it's tough.
So let me put a little bow on this here.
Yeah.
Not traditional Battlefield feeling at all.
Not at all.
But awesome for esports.
Still works.
Super tense matches. And just really great and kind of a nice sort of game mode to go to apart from the like massive 66
Absolutely.
player
It's
ones.
one flavor. If you still like your Battlefield, you got it. If you like your Chaos, you got it. But this is really for change it up every once in a while. Different flavors.
Give it a shot. It's fun. It's fun. It's good stuff.
And that's what we think about Hardline's new 5v5 modes. They're not exactly what you'd expect from Battlefield, but they're an awesome change of pace and they're really fun in their own right.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Zach, for joining me. Thank you, Brandon.
Got it.
And for more on awesome shooter multiplayer, you're already in the right place at IGN.